The machine, the showman, the villain, the microwave. These aren't comic book characters, lads. These are the elite warriors of the Oki. The men who've turned throwing tiny missiles at a board into an art form that packs arenas and glues millions to their tellies. Welcome to the world of professional darts, where pub games become gladiatorial combat and ordinary blokes transform into sporting legends. Today we're breaking down the cream of the darting crop, the unique styles, the mental fortitude, the raw talent that separates these champions from the thousands who've tried and failed. Whether you've been following the arrow since the embassy days or you've just discovered the sport during lockdown, this is your ultimate guide to understanding what makes each of these darting icons tick. So, grab your pint, settle into your armchair, and if you love dart stories like this, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Let's dissect the men who've mastered the 501. The Machine, James Wade. The nickname fits like a well-worn glove. No flash, no drama, just ruthless, methodical, mechanical precision. Wade approaches the Oki with all the emotion of a Swiss watchmaker, focused, deliberate, and utterly clinical. While others bounce around the stage or whip the crowd into a frenzy, the machine simply gets on with the job. 3 darts, maximum efficiency, minimum fuss. Rinse and repeat. His throw is a masterclass in consistency. That smooth, flat trajectory that's remained virtually unchanged for nearly 2 decades. No wasted movement, no theatrical flourishes, just pure mechanical repetition. What makes Wade truly special isn't raw scoring power, though he can certainly pile in the trebles when needed. It's his nerveless finishing. Ice runs through his veins when he's closing out legs. That's why they call him 007, licensed to kill on the doubles. With 11 PDC major titles from a staggering 28 major finals, including the World Match Play, 2 World Grand Prix crowns, 3 UK Opens, the Premier League, European Championship, Masters, Champions League, and the World Series of Darts finals, Wade is still hunting that elusive World Championship. The machine has battled more than just opponents. His openness about his mental health struggles has shown a vulnerability behind the mechanical exterior. But make no mistake, when Wade steps up to the Oki, that computer-like brain recalibrates, the emotional circuits shut down, and the machine goes to work. Methodical, merciless, mechanical. And he's not the only one forged in steel. Steve Beaton, the bronzed Adonis, has been dismantling opponents with one of the smoothest throws in darts history. No fuss, just pure, silky rhythm. Brendan Dolan, the history maker, brings a cold efficiency that frustrates flashier opponents. His composure and timing are lethal in tight matches. Dave Gurney may get fired up, but under the hood, he's a tactical grinder who thrives on rhythm and repeatability. Ross Smith, the quiet assassin of the modern crop, rarely draws attention until he's nailed a 130 finish with barely a flicker of emotion. Together, these players represent the machine archetype. Dartsmen who strip the sport to its bare essentials, no antics, just execution. As Wade once said, "I'm not here to make friends or entertain, I'm here to win." The machine doesn't care if you remember how he won, only that he did. The showman. If darts had a rock concert, Peter Snakebite Wright would be the frontman. The mohawk, the painted head, the dazzling outfits that look like they've been designed by a colorblind peacock, Wright isn't just playing darts, he's putting on a show. But don't let the carnival exterior fool you. Beneath that rainbow-colored mohawk lies the mind of a darting perfectionist, a man who's been known to change his darts mid-tournament, sometimes mid-match, in the relentless pursuit of precision. Wright's journey to the top reads like a sporting fairy tale. For years he was the talented also-ran, the colourful character who couldn't quite break through. Then at 43, an age when most players are contemplating retirement, Snakebite finally struck, capturing his first World Championship in 2020 before doubling up in 2022. His throw is as distinctive as his appearance, that deliberate, almost theatrical setup followed by a release that somehow combines technical precision with artistic flair. When Wright's in full flow, it's like watching a darts ballet. The crowd adores him, and he gives that love right back. The dancing on stage, the interaction with fans, the sheer joy he brings to the sport in an era of increasingly professional and sometimes sterile sports personalities, Wright remains gloriously, unapologetically himself. His wife Jo, the architect behind those incredible hairstyles, spends up to 2 hours before each match creating Snakebite's look. That's commitment to the craft. As Wright once put it, "I'm not just playing darts, I'm entertaining. I want people to remember they had a good time." But Snakebite's not the only show in town. Fallon Sherrock, the queen of the palace, turned Alexandra Palace into a global stage, smashing barriers while flashing style and swagger under pressure. Bobby George, the original king of bling, brought fur coats, gold chains and candlelight to the Oki, and still holds court like dart's own Liberace. Wayne Hawaii 501 Mardle wore his Hawaiian shirts like armor, firing up crowds with wild antics and making every match feel like a party. Dimitri Vandenberg, the Dream Maker, dances to the Oki and throws with the joy of someone who still can't believe he gets paid to do this for a living. And Adrian Lewis, explosive, unpredictable, always ready with a cheeky grin and a moment of madness. He made 180s look easy and reactions feel electric. These are the performers, the characters, the ones who turn the board into a spotlight. They don't just throw darts, they entertain. The tactician, Luke Humphries. Cool Hand Luke, the tactician, the man who turned darting potential into championship reality through sheer strategic brilliance. Luke Humphries doesn't just play darts, he solves the mathematical puzzle of each match in real time, making micro adjustments that transform good performances into great ones. His rise to the top wasn't meteoric, it was methodical. After years of promise and gradual improvement, Humphries exploded in 2023, claiming 3 major titles before capping it with the ultimate prize, the World Championship in January 2024. What set Humphries apart is his in-game intelligence. Watch him closely, he's constantly analysing, adapting, evolving. If Plan A isn't working, he'll seamlessly shift to Plan B, C or D. His dartboard isn't divided into segments, it's a chessboard where he's always thinking 3 moves ahead. His throw is technically superb, a smooth, repeatable action that delivers dart after dart with laser-like precision. But it's the brain behind the throw that makes him special. Humphries doesn't just beat opponents, he outthinks them. The mental aspect of his game is perhaps his greatest weapon. After openly discussing his battles with anxiety, Humphries transformed his mindset into a strength. Now under pressure, when others might crumble, the tactician becomes even more focused, even more precise. His scoring power is phenomenal. Those clusters of treble 20s stacked so tightly they barely seem to fit in the bed. But it's his ability to deliver that power exactly when needed that marks him out as special. But Cool Hand Luke isn't the only player playing 4D darts. Johnny Clayton, the Ferret, is a maestro of match control. He doesn't chase fireworks, he wins the key legs, capitalizes on mistakes, and finishes with icy calm. Dave Chizzy Chisnell is often known for power scoring, but behind the scenes he's one of the most intelligent setup men in darts, always finding the angle, always preparing the kill shot. Joe Cullen, the rock star, brings a cool exterior but a brain working overtime. He changes tempo, shifts position, and reads his opponents like a book. Alan Suter, the firefighter who makes flames vanish, is a grinder with a game IQ through the roof. He dissects high-ranked players with steady setups and mental fortitude. And Martin Schindler, the Wall, doesn't just play defense, he absorbs pressure and counters with ruthless precision. No emotion, no panic, just tactics. These are the quiet assassins of darts. They don't roar, they don't dance, they calculate, they adapt. And when the match is on the line, they make the right move, every time. The villain, Gerwyn Price. The Iceman, the villain, the man the darting crowds love to hate. Gerwyn Price doesn't just play darts, he attacks it with the physical intensity of the professional rugby player he once was. Every throw, every celebration, every stare down with the crowd or opponent comes with an unmistakable message. I'm here to win, not to make friends. The chest thumping, the primal roars after clutch checkouts, the simmering confrontations and frosty handshakes. Price doesn't just step on stage, he enters the arena like a gladiator. He brings fight to a sport born in pubs. And it's worked. In just 7 years, he went from a complete outsider to world champion, one of the fastest rises in darts history. A transformation that defies logic. But then again, defying expectations is what villains do. His throw is a study in controlled aggression, direct, fast, and thunderously confident. When Price is in full flow, it's not a darts match, it's a hurricane in green and black, one that opponents can only hope to weather. The boos? They don't break him, they build him. When the crowd at Alexander Palace turned on him during the 2023 World Championship quarter-final, he even tried wearing ear defenders to block out the boos, and lost 5-1 to Gabriel Clemens. Since then, the villain has realized he doesn't want the silence, he wants it turned up. His resume? Rock solid. 2021 PDC World Champion, 3-time Grand Slam of Darts winner, 2018, 2019, 2021. 2020 World Grand Prix champion, 2-time World Series of Darts Finals winner, 2020, 2022. 2 World Cup of Darts titles with Wales, 2020, 2023. That's 7 major TV titles and 2 World Team titles, all earned with fire, not friendship. In the pantomime of professional darts, Price has embraced his character, and fans can't stop watching. As he once said, "I don't care if they boo, as long as they're making noise." But Price isn't alone on the dark side of the hockey. Peter Manley, aka One Dart, was the original villain, refusing to shake Phil Taylor's hand, smirking through defeats and winding up crowds like a seasoned heel wrestler. Andy Hamilton, the Hammer, had a reputation for intense stares and no-nonsense darts. If looks could kill, most of his matches would have ended in the first leg. Ted Hankey, the Count, turned up in a Dracula cape, played mind games and brooded his way to lakeside glory. A villain pulled straight from Gothic fiction. These are the agitators, the disruptors, the ones who don't care what you think as long as you're watching. They don't just play darts, they break rhythm, they shatter routines, they demand a reaction. Love them, hate them, you can't ignore them. The Microwave, Michael Van Gerwen. The Microwave, Mighty Mike, The Green Machine, Michael Van Gerwen. If darts had a turbo button, MVG would be the one holding it down. Why the microwave? Because when this man heats up, it happens in seconds, and everything in his path gets absolutely cooked. Van Gerwen doesn't just play darts, he unleashes it. That rapid-fire style, the blur of the green shirt and flying arrows. The scoreboard's ticking so fast the caller can barely keep up. When MVG hits top gear, it's not a match, it's a massacre. His throw is pure controlled aggression, that high elbow, the powerful delivery, and the unwavering conviction behind every dart. No hesitation, no fear, just darting instinct honed over one of the most dominant careers in history. The numbers? Outrageous. 3 World Championships, 7 Premier League titles, and 47 televised PDC majors, plus the highest televised average ever recorded at 123.40 in 2016. When most players tighten up under pressure, MVG kicks into another gear entirely. He doesn't play moments, he burns through them. As MVG once said, darts is not about how good you are, it's about how good you are when you need to be. And he's not the only one who can melt the hockey. Nathan Aspinall might look like he's out of the leg until he explodes with back-to-back 180s and a 122 checkout. When the Asp is fired up, he stings fast and lethal. Damien Heta, the Aussie Heat, who can suddenly catch fire and rip off legs before opponents know what hit them. Josh Rock, the rising star, can go from flat to flamethrower with a single treble. He rattles off high scores like a machine gun. The Microwave 2.0 may already be here. Michael Smith, Bully Boy doesn't simmer, he erupts, known for bursts of 9-dart legs and strings of 180s that leave opponents shell-shocked. These are the darting infernos. They don't warm up, they detonate. They remind us that in darts, momentum is everything. And when these players hit their zone, you better hope the fire alarm is working. The unorthodox Dirk van Dijvenbode. The Obergenius, the Titan, the most gloriously unorthodox player in professional darts. Dirk van Dijvenbode doesn't just march to the beat of his own drum, he's playing a completely different instrument. From working full-time on an aubergine farm, yes really, to sprinting on stage to hardcore techno, everything about Dirk breaks the darting mold. That throw, it's chaos in motion, a violent, almost exorcist-style action that looks more like a workout than a technique. By any coaching manual, it shouldn't work, but it does. Because behind the mania is precision, clutch checkouts, tight groupings. Dirk's darts might look wild, but his results are cold-blooded. He's pure intensity, raw, unfiltered, and unstoppable when he finds his rhythm. His walk-on is a spectacle. The head-banging, the air guitar, the power stomp to the oki. It's not a routine, it's a one-man rave. As he once said, "I don't try to be different, this is just who I am." He's not alone. Devon Peterson, the South African star, lights up the stage with high-octane energy, an exaggerated theatrical show, and charisma to spare. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you'll always remember the performance. John Henderson. Hendo moves with the rhythm of a freight train and throws with a beat all his own. He's a fan favorite, not because of how pretty it looks, but because it's unapologetically him. Jelle Klassen delivers darts like a slingshot, fast, twitchy, and full of tension. It's never textbook, but when he's in the zone, it's deadly. Paul Lim, the living legend, throws with a technique locked in time. A hybrid of eras that somehow still competes at the highest level. Proof that unorthodox doesn't mean outdated. These are the style rebels of darts. They don't throw like anyone else, and they don't care if it's textbook. Raise an eyebrow at their form if you want, just don't be surprised when it beats you. The wild card, Andrew Gilding. The silent bracket buster, the man you forget about until he's knocking out a favourite. Andrew Gilding doesn't roar, dance or play to the crowd, but when he hits, even the world's best can't keep up. He's the perfect face of the wild card. Unpredictable, disruptive and utterly unfazed. Wildcards aren't defined by how they throw, they're defined by when they win. They can be unstoppable one round and invisible the next. They break tournaments wide open, often without warning. Take Jose de Souza, the special one. He can rattle off 180s like a metronome, or bust a 70 checkout in ways that make fans and commentators shake their heads. Elite talent wrapped in glorious unpredictability. Simon Whitlock, the Wizard, has conjured some of the biggest upsets in darts, including a legendary match at the 2017 Grand Slam where he produced 170, 167 and 164 checkouts, but can vanish for months. Ryan Searle, armed with 32-gram darts, can destroy a leg with 5 straight 180s or average 86 for no reason anyone can explain. Gabriel Clemens, the German giant, has toppled #1 seeds on the sport's biggest stages, only to crash out the very next match. These are the chaos agents. You can't predict them, you can't prepare for them, and on their day, you can't stop them. They are the reason every seeded player glances nervously at the draw sheet, because in darts, anyone can beat anyone, and the wildcards prove it. Mr. Freeze, Gary Anderson. Mr. Freeze, the Flying Scotsman Gary Anderson. In a sport full of emotion, adrenaline and explosive celebrations, Anderson remains eternally chill. That's why he's Mr. Freeze. The colder the stage gets, the sharper his darts become. His throw is pure rhythm, smooth, natural, effortless, a glide of the arm that delivers destruction without theatrics. While others grind out results, Anderson flows. He makes the extraordinary look routine. 2 World Championships, 2 Premier League titles, multiple other televised majors. And through it all, the same laid-back swagger, the same nonchalant shrug after drilling 3 treble 20s. He's openly admitted to not loving practice, and yet his raw talent continues to haunt top-tier opponents. He doesn't obsess over grip angles or dart models, he just shows up and starts peppering trebles. Anderson doesn't play to win the crowd, he doesn't posture, he just plays and he wins. As he once put it, I just throw darts, sometimes they go where I want them to. But Mr. Freeze doesn't walk alone. Raymond van Barneveld, the Dutch legend, had one of the coolest heads in darts history. His soft-spoken, calm master killer instinct that delivered 5 world titles and some of the sport's most iconic comebacks, all with barely a fist pump. Stephen Bunting, the Bullet, brings zero ego to the stage but can quietly dismantle anyone. His relaxed presence hides a sneaky ability to explode for 11 darters without ever breaking his smile. Danny Noppert, the Freeze nickname says it all. No celebration, no overreactions, just icy finishes and a pace that unnerves his opponents into making mistakes. Chris Dobby, Hollywood may have the flashiest nickname here, but his demeanor is all business. Quiet, unassuming, lethal when left unchecked. James Wilson, Lethal Biscuit as fans call him, brought a poker face and robotic accuracy that baffled opponents when he was on his game. These are the cold-blooded finishers, the anti-hype, the players who never panic, never posture, and never need noise to make a statement. They're the ones you forget are dangerous until it's too late. They don't bring the heat, they survive it. The Prodigy, Luke Littler. The Nuke, the Prodigy, Luke Littler. How do you explain a 16-year-old reaching the PDC World Championship final? How do you rationalize a teenager playing with the composure and skill of veterans twice his age? You don't. That's why they call him the Prodigy. Littler doesn't just play darts beyond his years, he plays with a joy and freedom that reminds us why we fell in love with the sport in the first place. That smooth, repeatable throw, the natural rhythm at the oche, the calm under lights most grown men would buckle beneath. His 2024 World Championship run wasn't just a sporting moment, it was a cultural shift. A kebab-eating teen from Warrington became a household name. Front-page news, TikTok memes, and late-night talk show fodder. Darts had its first breakout Gen Z superstar. In January 2024, at just 16, he reached his first PDC World Championship final, eventually falling 7-4 to Luke Humphries. 4 months later, at 17, he won his first senior televised title, the Premier League, becoming the youngest winner in its history. And in January 2025, still 17, he made history by winning the PDC World Championship, becoming the youngest world champion of all time. But what makes Littler truly special isn't just his talent, it's his maturity. The way he handles pressure, the way he shrugs off hype with a grin, the way he takes the stage like he's been doing it for 20 years. "I just love playing darts," he says, and somehow that simplicity makes it even scarier. Right now, Littler stands alone, but if he's proven anything, it's that the next superstar could come from anywhere. A village pub, a kitchen dartboard, or a name we've never heard yet. Littler is the first of his kind, but he won't be the last. Hit that subscribe button and let's keep looking together. Who knows what else we'll uncover in this fabulous game of darts?